Hey, I thought I'd give people a little update on what's going on with Hyrule Warriors. I also wanted to kind of talk about the differences between this game and where is it? I have too much shit on here now. Fire Emblem Warriors. I know a lot of people are probably going to be asking for my opinion, so I'm going to try to knock out everything as soon as I can. I'm probably just going to play through a couple maps here and try to do it as fast as I can. Wanted to show my progress as well. Now today's been kind of a rough day for me. The channel has not been doing well. It puts a lot of pressure on me because I need the ad revenue to pay for my PC upgrade bill. Now this month it's not going to be a problem, but next month I'm going to be getting into the months where my videos were not performing as well. I didn't have as many big games or big guides really kind of carrying the rest of my content. So I haven't really had the most motivation right now. I'm sure most of you know. I don't know. YouTube's just a cesspool right now. It's just like they don't care about small channels like me. It makes things difficult, and I work my ass off, and things just have been declining quite a bit. Anyway, enough about that. I'll do my best to work through all that as things go, but basically, I've realized that this game just it's too much of a time investment. Now, normally that's a good thing. In Musou games, it's usually a good thing. Whenever you buy one for like $50, $60, you're usually guaranteed or at least a couple dozen hours of gameplay. Even at the like bare minimum, you're probably going to get at least 20, 30 just out of the story mode, depending on which game you're playing. But here, it's like there's just too much. There's too much in here. There's a lot of progression blockers. Like right now, what I did most of today was I conquered quite a bit of the Master Quest map, but I've got a bunch of roadblocks here. Like a lot of these, I would have to grind these characters out significantly just to even get a chance to, really grind out levels and stuff. So the plan was probably to just get all the way down here. I believe it's one of these squares over here is one that people use for farming, and I got pretty close. But the game was just starting to piss me off. One of the problems is the character restrictions. Now, the character restrictions, at first glance, they don't seem like they're that bad, but a lot of times you'll get problems where, it's a character that you haven't invested any time in at all. So, not only do you have to level them up, you have to get them a decent weapon. I have been using the co-op trick to kind of cheat and get past some of it, but even that is not foolproof. Depending on the map, it can be more difficult. I believe the game actually spawns less peons when you're in two-player mode, because this game already runs like shit compared to Fire Emblem Warriors. Digital Foundry was right. I take back everything I said about the first video I did of this, where the performance didn't really seem to be that bad. It actually does tank quite a bit, like for seemingly no reason at all. So if you play in two-player mode, it can be harder to get the requirements. So if you're on a map like this where it's required for you to get an A rank just to get the weapon or the prize or whatever the reward is for that map, you can actually make things more difficult. Also, if you can't get around fast enough, if you can't kill things fast enough and clear the map, then even if you park the second player or the first player in the allied base, the peons and the officers can get in there and kill them. So it hasn't been as foolproof as I thought. So let me go ahead and show my progress here. Now obviously this month there's not really a whole lot going on. Most of pretty much all the money I'm getting off the channel is going straight back into the PC repair, so that I can hopefully have it paid off by I'm looking at probably November at this point, unless I'm able to get some donations or something. So obviously I don't really have a lot of extra money to be buying other games anyway. But the main thing, I thought about this pretty hard last night and today. I realized if I work my ass off and I try to get to the point where I can do maximization on this, that basically I'm going to be risking Musou fatigue, and with Warriors Orochi 4 right around the corner, just about a month and a half away, I'm not really sure if that's a good idea. I know, obviously, from a monetary or financial standpoint, Warriors Orochi 4 is going to work great for me because I'm going to have it early, and I have a lot of experience with those games, and I can make the guides pretty quickly. But also, it's just in terms of Musou fatigue. I don't want to be burnt out of a game that I'm going to enjoy far more mechanically than this, just because this game is so much of a grind. I think the problem with this game is just that it has too much content, and there's just too many roadblocks until you can get to the content that you actually want to do. Like, say, if you want to play, like... What's a good example? If you want to play Linkle, and you want to play the boots, you basically have to finish pretty much all of the Legend mode, or maybe like most of it, and then to get her level 2 boots, you have to finish the entire thing and get the hammer. So by that time, you've probably played through a bunch of the adventure mode maps, and you're probably getting pretty close to being pissed off with all the restrictions. I think that's the problem with this game. Now, Fire Emblem Musou, the problem is the opposite. Like, that game streamlines the grind, but the problem is that there's so little content that there's not really a whole lot of reason to go through it all. Also, the way that the items or the loot works in that game is once you get that respective weapon, it remains in the drop pool. So if you actually skip a bunch of the junk, you can get your stuff maximized or optimized far faster. So it actually benefits you to just go through that game and brute force it as fast as possible, because if you actually do try to be a completionist and clear all the adventure mode maps, or whatever they're called in that game, then it dilutes the drop pool and it makes it harder to get the things that you actually want. And due to all the clones in that game, it's really easy to experience all the movesets and figure out which movesets you like, and then just not even bother with the rest aside from restrictions or just transportation like the Wyvern Riders. So I think the games can be compared, but they're also like completely polarizing. Like, this game has too much content and there's too much of a grind to get to the things that you want. Like, even just getting the attack speed up, the hasty attacks in this game, it's just a massive grind. I'm gonna do my best to try to get that this month, and if not, then I might just call it quits on this. I know people would like maximization. I actually looked, and I haven't been able to find too many. I don't know if I just don't have the right tags for it in the search bar or something, but I haven't been able to find much in general. I think that would be something fun to do, but the problem is it just takes so long. It is not like Orochi. I know with Orochi, I would be able to do maximization pretty quickly, because, unless they change the way things work in that game, you can just have a dummy character, whatever character you're trying to power up. You could just dump them in the party and never switch to them. Go to a high level map and then get them a bunch of weapons and then just fuse everything into one super weapon. That's how it's always worked since the first one. I would assume that they're not going to change that, because obviously with 170 characters, you don't want to make things too grindy. Now, this game only has 29 characters, but the game is still ridiculously grindy to get anything that you actually want. The main reason for that is the weapons. Let me go ahead and show some of my weapons here. I only have level 2 of the crossbow, so basically every time I finish a map, the only weapons that will be in the drop pool are the level 1 and the level 2. It's not like Orochi, where, say, you do a high level map and you have a dummy character in there. They can get a level 4 weapon pretty much instantly, and then it's just a matter of doing it a couple more times, fusing them a better weapon, and then buying them some levels, and then you can pretty much just play as them. You can't do that here. You have to get every single weapon in either Legend mode or Adventure mode, and at that point, like I said, it does dilute the drop pool here as well. Now, there are ways to mitigate that with the Apothecary. I'm on level 3 of the Skulltulas. I'm about halfway towards the next level. But there's stuff here, like you can increase the rate of the weapons, like the drop rate, the rank, the stars, and the slots as well. And you can also kind of indirectly control what skills will drop or abilities will drop as well. But it's just a massive grind. Let me go back to Adventure mode here. See, like right here is the sword. I tried clearing this at level 49 with Link, and it just did not work. I tried doing the co-op trick, but since there's no actual allied base on this map, that didn't work either, because I would actually have to have another human person here playing with the Joy-Cons and moving the character around so that she could clear everything up. But even then, it was kind of difficult, so I would have to go probably grind out another 10-15 levels with Link to even imagine to do this. The same thing here. I'm not exactly sure what is going to be entailed here, but it's a level 9 map, so I can't imagine it's going to be easy at all. I think that they streamlined things a little bit, but they didn't do enough. There are things like the Ocarina statues, also the item card shop does help quite a bit. Basically, once you've acquired the item once on the map by clearing the respective level, then you can spend 10,000 rupees here and you can get the item card whenever you want. So that does help mitigate the grind a little bit, but everything else about it hasn't really been changed at all, meaning that you're going to get a lot of annoying character restrictions, you're going to get a lot of really difficult maps, even if you try to use the co-op trick to kind of get around the character restrictions. It's still not as simple as it should be. I think with a game like this, they should be encouraging people to play all the content, and I think that the character restrictions does kind of help with that, but I feel that it's done in the wrong way. There's just too much content to go through to really warrant somebody, doing all this grinding with someone that they can't stand. Also, the other issue is that apparently hasty attacks makes a lot of the more shitty movesets actually usable. Like, it kind of turns them into more playable characters, but you have to grind out 90 Skulltulas, and that takes such a long time. By that time, you probably have a bunch of decent gear with everybody already. I'm not really sure why something as important as attack speed is locked behind so much grinding. It'd be like if in Orochi, in Warriors Orochi 4, they made it so that you had to grind for, putting agility on your weapon. Like, that would just make a lot of characters really painful to play. I'm sure there would be several that would be fine, but you're playing as like one guy or something and you have no agility on your weapon and everybody else does. He's going to feel slow as molasses. So, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I decided I'm probably going to give this another week or two, maybe the rest of the month, depending on how my fatigue is looking. I got pretty fatigued and pissed off today. I actually had to turn off my stream. I've been pretty stressed about how bad the channel is doing. I've been worried about the future, paying off this bill and stuff. The stress has just been piling up, and I haven't really wanted to be playing anything that just amplifies that. So I'm going to give this, the best try that I can. And in the event that I decide to just give up on it, or, Warriors Orochi 4 approaches, or they give me the key earlier than I thought, I was thinking of maybe doing a giveaway for this. People would be interested in it. Obviously, you need to have a Switch. You need to actually want to play it. I'm not going to give this to somebody who's not going to play it, because I did get it for free. I could easily trade this in and, put it towards my next project, but I was considering giving back to you guys because you guys have given me so much support over the past several years, with all the things I've needed help with, the computer, the PC repairs, the PC upgrades now, the Switch, the Vita capture card. There's been countless things. I even have a capture card that was sent to me, so I think it would be a good way to give back to people, but I'm going to give it another couple weeks, so I apologize in advance if I am not able to get to the maximization stuff. It's something that I would like to do, but this game, it's kind of like the opposite of like the Korean action MMOs now, where they rush you to the end game so that you can, just kind of get past all the trivial stuff. And this game is weird. It has a bunch of trivial stuff, and then it has a bunch of really hard stuff, and then by that time, maybe there's a chance that with the characters you like, you'll actually have some gear and you'll be able to have some fun with them. But it's just such a massive grind. I feel like they didn't really put, like, fatigue into consideration when they designed this. It's like, it's cool to have, new content and things to explore dozens of hours into it, but when it's just such a soul-crushing grind and a lot of it involves playing as characters you can't stand and then having to level them up and spend even more time with them just to get past those maps, I don't really think this is the right way to do it. I think Fire Emblem is kind of the opposite, like the other extreme of the example, where it's so easy to get pretty much everything in that game, and if you decide to not dilute the drop pool, it's even easier to just get all the good stuff, and all the clones kind of kill the replay value in that game as well. I hope that Warriors Orochi 4 is going to be more of a middle ground. It's not going to be a complete soul-crushing grind, but it'll have things to keep people coming back. They did announce earlier this week that there's going to be some kind of online play. There's going to be not only co-op, but 3 versus 3. I think it would be awesome if I could bust out badass tag combos on other people, but I think that's a step in the right direction. Having online play and things like that is a good way to increase replay value without just having a grind that most people aren't going to have the sanity or free time to do. Anyway, that's it. I haven't really made too much more progress. I did like 10 or so maps today, and then I'll probably try to get some more done tomorrow. Obviously, EVO's going on right now, so I have been watching that, and I've honestly been feeling like shit mentally. The channel has been doing well. I'm financially strapped to try to get this PC upgrade paid off, and I'm just kind of frustrated with YouTube. YouTube seems like they just care less and less about people like me, even though I'm one of the people that's been here since the beginning, and it just feels like I'm just being pushed aside, so they can sell their shitty YouTube Premium, YouTube Music, and continue to promote people who cheat the system. It's honestly made me pretty demoralized, and I hope that, you know, I'll recover in time for Warriors Orochi 4. I definitely would like to make the best content possible for that game, but right now I'm just experiencing some fatigue. Sometimes I just feel like I shouldn't even bother making videos anymore. Like, they're not good, and, you know, it's kind of showing off right now and just how bummed I am. But I'm going to do my best with this game. Warriors Orochi 4 is about a month away. I have to give some more time to Yakuza 0 as well. So far, it hasn't really clicked with me, but maybe things will get better in the future. So I will do my best to accommodate everybody here. Worst case scenario, I'll probably give this away. So let me know if you're interested in the comments. Most likely I would only be able to ship throughout the US, so if you live somewhere else, I don't really think I have the funds to be paying for that right now, given all this other stuff I have to pay for. But I will do my best to accommodate everybody, so give me some feedback in the comments, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.